Hello, this is David, and in this video we're going to review the tracking capabilities within the Omni software. We're going to live more or less within the web client of the Omni, and the web client has a number of interesting features to it. First of all, by virtue of the name web, you can access the Omni server from any browser, either within the enterprise or via the cloud. Now, as you can see here, the connection is secure, so you get SSL security, and you log in. This is the first screen. You can save the login credentials, and when you log in, you can log in either as an Omni user defined within the Omni software, or as an Active Directory, as long as that Active Directory user has been imported into Omni. Then the authentication of that user will be through the Active Directory. You will also get user privileges based on the group associations within the Active Directory. So we're going to log in here, and the first screen that we get is our application list. If I quickly review some of these applications, we have the Access Manager, where you define what the privileges are for the various users. The Alerts view is where you see alarms that are sent by the Omni server. There's the Asset Manager that allows you to search for assets, generate real-time inventory reports, program PAR levels for different types of asset categories within different areas within the facility, etc. We'll go into that in greater detail a bit later. The Badge Match is a screen which was engineered specifically for the Baby Match application or use case. Badge Viewer is a generic badge search and view log, including maps, etc. We're going to look at that. That's where you're going to enroll your new tags, etc., and view and search and generate reports for location. The Map Editor is where we will edit the hierarchy of maps, attach background images, and place our fixed network devices on these maps. Reports is where you generate general alert or tracking reports, statistics, etc. This is where you benefit from the Omni history. Shift Manager is where a head nurse would assign rooms to specific nurses per shift, and if she needs to make last-minute changes, she does that using this screen on her mobile phone. And the Temperature Dashboard, where you can track the temperature of various assets or refrigerators, etc., within the site using the Elpas or CenTrak or environmental monitoring devices. So if we now move into the badge page, the badge viewer, right? So on the top here, we're on the first filter, the first tab, and the top shows the criteria for the list below, right? So if I want to limit this list just to assets, then I will click on just assets, right? If I want to see all the staff members, I can click on staff members, etc. I can search on specific names, let's say David, or I want to look for vital monitors. VS, right? If I want to see my VS pumps and where they're located, I have recovery room 810 and maternity room 825, right? Now, what I see here can be displayed on a map. So if I have a look at, let's remove my criteria. We want to see all the tags, and I can pop up a map. And here you see these assets all appearing at some location, right? As I hover over the images of these assets, I get the details. If I specify a specific tag, it'll bring that to the center of the screen. And if I move the tag to another location, then you'll see it move back and forth. So that's the map, quite powerful. And there's a whole hierarchy of maps. I clicked on that button, so we got an alert. There's a hierarchy of maps, right? So if I go up, this might be my outermost map, and then I can drill in to the specific floor, and then into the specific department, right? So the hierarchy of the maps does not only provide a graphic tool, but the hierarchy we'll see later with the asset search is a logical hierarchy where we can search within any layer on the tree for specific asset categories. Okay, so that's the map. And also we have here on the badge screen the properties. This is where I can edit the details of a specific tag. I can change the status, so that would arm and disarm that specific tag. We can update properties. Now, in one of the great features within the Omni software is that users can, or system administrators can, define new properties, attributes for these tags, and you can then edit them using these screens and then search on these values. So I have staff ID is 2345. If I go back here, I can search in staff ID and search for 23, and I'm going to get this tag since its staff ID contains 23, right? So that's just an example of a property which I defined manually, and then I can use it to report, to search, etc. This is a screen that I use to enroll my tags. It will detect button presses of new tags, and then display them here, and then I can grab it, give it a name, assign it to a specific group, right? So if I have various groups, I can assign it, and that will determine the alert behavior for that tag. And I can assign a different model, which is determines the behavior of the location logic within Iris, within the Omni software. And as I said, I can assign a tag to a specific group or to multiple groups, and again, that would determine the alerts for which it would trigger. Now, one of the use cases of this would be for access control. So let's say I enroll a tag and I want to give it access to certain areas, then I would just assign it to specific groups. And then as the tag would walk up to one of those doors, the door would open because that tag is a member now of that group. Of course, only administrators would be able to have access to this screen. And the columns is where I show which fields are visible on the main search page, right? So I can add or or remove these specific fields. And again, this is both standard default fields as well as user-defined attributes. Okay, so that is the badge page. I'm going to jump over for a moment. Let's go back to the main page here. I'll open up a new tab, go to the alerts view. Now, one of the things that we can do, in Omni is create mobile phones as tags. And the mobile phone would be running the Loan Protect application on their mobile. I'm going to now trigger an alert either using the standard button on the user interface of the application, or I can trigger it using a tag associated or paired with Bluetooth. Now, as you can see, the tag pops up on a Google map showing my current location, right? And therefore, we're not only tracking tags inside of facilities, but also globally using GPS coordinates. Now, when that person carrying that phone walks indoors and he's carrying an Elpas shield tag, then that shield tag will detect its room location using LF technology and transfer that indoor location to the application. And we will then see the location of the mobile being the indoor location. So we've got both outdoor and indoor. Now, within the outdoor, we can define geofences, and that geofence will determine the behavior of that alert. So I can define, let's say, a button press alert within a specific geofence. Now, if you see here, it says location is Ra'anana North. That means that the location is within a geofence called Ra'anana North, right? And then I can say, okay, if the tag deviates from a specific geofence, I can trigger a relocation alert. And therefore, let's say a use case of that would be for offender monitoring or even senior monitoring, that we want to give them the freedom to walk to the near neighborhood post office or supermarket, but not any further. So if that senior is carrying their mobile phone, then we can monitor the location and alert within Iris if they have deviated from that permitted area. Okay. Now again, of course, that alert just automatically closed. We're going to talk about events during a different video. Okay, so that was regarding GPS tracking. Okay, we are going to now run our Asset Manager application. So once I'm in here, since I'm logged in as David Fensterheim, then the default search area will be set to the 8th floor. And I can assign specific areas within the map hierarchy to a user so that his default search location, I can always click on that and change where I want to search for my assets, right? And here I can have free text. So I want to search my vital signs monitors, VSs, and there they're coming up, and I see their location appear here on a map. I've got one in maternity and this one in recovery, right? I can click on each one, and here I can actually change the status. So let's say I'm providing preventative maintenance on these assets, then I can simply use this form. Once I've checked the asset and maybe replaced its battery, then I can change the status back to in service, for example, and manage my assets that way using these forms, right? So I've got my location hierarchy determined using maps, and I've got this asset category hierarchy, and I've got the tools that I need to define this hierarchy and add them and remove them as necessary, and associate actual tags with that category. So I can search a tag based on their category and not a specific ID of a tag, right? And as compared with groups that I can search on in the regular badge interface, here I've got a hierarchy. So if I'm searching on monitors, right, then I can search on all monitors. So go back to here, right? If I'm searching on monitors, then I'll get all of the monitors, whether they be fetal monitors or vital signs monitors. But if I search just on the vital signs monitors, then I'll see just the VS monitors here. Right, so that I've got a hierarchy, and I can search any layer within the hierarchy if I want to get all furniture or just stretchers. And I have the free search up here, and I see the results on a map. I can actually drill down the map and see the asset, the specific asset within that detailed map. Okay, let's now have a look at our mobile app, and I'm going to use a mirror of the mobile screen to achieve that. Yeah, so what you see here is a mirror of my Android mobile device, and I'm going to open up the Iris Go, or the Omni mobile application, and it automatically logged in. It had remembered my previous credentials. We're not going to talk about alerts now, that's for another video, but we're going to go into the badges screen. This is one of the means of searching on tags, and tracking tags. So it's showing me the location of my tags. Again, I can look for fetal monitors by simply entering fetal, and it will show me where they are, right? Now, a user can be assigned with a specific filter so that it will only see the tags or assets within a predefined area or category of a group of tags. And that way you can limit the scope of the search for a specific user, right? But for the purpose of this demo, we're just going to show how the IrisGo application can be used for searching for tags. It's pretty rudimentary, but it nonetheless is quite effective. Now I'm going to open up our asset tracking or asset search application. So here we are on the home screen, and we're going to click on Asset Search. Here too, it logged in automatically because I already entered my credentials, and I'm going to enter in the category, right? So I'm going to search. Here's my tree of asset types. If I want to search for incubators, bassinets, etc., or again, I don't have too many assets currently defined here, so it's either the fetal or vital signs monitors, right? So I click on vital signs monitor, and where do I want to search for them? Do I want to search for them within maternity? Yes. Okay. So I've got maternity selected, and I'm going to search. And here it found one vital signs monitor within maternity. But if I refine that search and I now want to search not only maternity, but anywhere on the 8th floor, then it'll show the two. One is in recovery, one is in maternity. So that's the asset search application. Again, it uses the user to define their default scope or location and area of search. It's quite simple, but gets the job done. I'm going to move back to the web client to demonstrate not only the search capabilities, but the inventory reporting, as well as how we handle par levels of assets within a facility. So here we've got our web client, and I'm open now on the badge view just to show you that I searched on the vital sign monitors, and I've got one in maternity and one in recovery, right? However, if I go now into the asset manager, I'm going to go to my setup areas, and if I go to maternity, I'll see that I've defined that for VS monitors, I need 2. I need a minimum of 2 in this area. I also need 2 fetal monitors. I can set a different number for minimum and maximum. But in our case, I sent both to a quantity of 2. If I go back to my badge view and I return both to the maternity by moving the tag, right? I'm now within quota. So if I go to the asset manager, the plain user client, I do my inventory report, and I'm looking for VS monitors. And I can see here in maternity, I've got a green check mark. Everything is great. I've got 2, and the fraction indicates that I've got 2 in service devices. In other words, if one needs servicing or is soiled, then that would be maybe 1 of 2, right? I only have 1 in service, so that's the indication here. But the total number is 2, so that's within the quota or within the par level. But if I now take one of my vital sign monitors and move it to recovery, right? So now I get an alert. Let's go to my alerts. And you can see asset counts is under specified quota VS monitors, location maternity. So I've got too few of my vital sign monitors, and if I go back to the report to VS monitors, I'll see that no, I'm under quota, right? However, even though in the entire 8th floor I've got the 2, but in maternity there's only 1. In other words, within the 8th floor I've got 1 in maternity and 1 in recovery. So this is the inventory report that I've got showing the par levels, and where I need extra more of a particular category of assets, or maybe I've got too many and I'm wasting my resources by stocking too many of a particular asset type. This is the report where we can improve on our efficiencies within our operation. So we've got a pretty complete asset solution within Omni, both for searching in case of to improve the quality of service, as well as par levels to improve the efficiencies of your operation. So that's it for today. I hope you benefited from this video, and I'll see you in the next one.